My name is Paisley, and I grew up in a single-parent household. My father passed away when I was young, and since then, my mom has raised me on her own. Although we didn't have much time together because of her demanding job, I've never been upset about being raised by a single mom. In fact, I've always looked up to her. She worked tirelessly to keep the architectural firm my father and she had built running, and I admired her strength and determination. I aspired to be like her, a driven and successful woman. But everything changed one day, shattering that admiration. My boyfriend, Matto, is 3 years older than me. We met in college, and although his family is well off, he earned his place in a bank through connections, and he's now an elite banker. He's generous, always treating me to gifts and expensive dinners. While he can be a bit indecisive, he's kind-hearted and an amazing person. Recently, we started talking about marriage. I've just graduated and begun working, so the timing isn't right for me. I still want some space for myself, but we agreed that we'd like to be together as a family in the future. Today, I'm heading to meet his parents for the first time. I've been excited to finally meet them and announce our intentions to marry. I've put extra thought into my outfit and appearance, wanting to make a good impression on his sophisticated parents. As I prepare to leave, I say goodbye to my mom. Mom, I'm going to visit Matteo's parents today, I tell her. All right, just be polite, she says, not looking away from her work. Of course, I will. See you later, I reply, my excitement rising as I head out. After a bus and train ride, I arrive at Matteo's house, located in a nearby town. It's a mansion, straight out of a fairy tale. I had asked Matteo for his parents' favorite cake shop and picked up a dessert for them. I ring the doorbell. Ah, Paisley, welcome, we've been expecting you. Matteo greets me with a warm smile. As I enter the house, I'm struck by how grand it is. The space and decor scream wealth, showcasing the power of Matteo's father, a high-ranking banker. Nice to meet you, I'm Paisley, I say, a little intimidated by the splendor but trying to maintain composure. Welcome, Paisley, it's a pleasure to have you here, Matteo's mother says warmly, gesturing for me to sit down. Let me prepare some tea. Paisley, I'm Matteo's father, please make yourself at home, his father adds, offering a friendly smile. Matteo's parents are kind and welcoming, just as I had hoped. We chat over the tea and cake I brought, and it's a pleasant exchange. His mother is lively and engaging, while his father listens intently. Matteo chimes in occasionally, but when the conversation turns to my background, the mood shifts suddenly. So, you lost your father at 5, and your mother raised you alone? She must be an incredible woman. I admire her, Matteo's mother comments. It's clear that you turned out so well, because of her strong upbringing. Yes, my mom is truly my role model, I respond, feeling hopeful that we're connecting. But then, Matteo's mother's tone changes. However, coming from a single-parent household, and with your mother being self-employed, we're concerned about whether this is a suitable match for our son. Matteo's father quietly agrees. It raises questions about stability and trust. I'm stunned. They had just praised me, and now they're calling me unsuitable. I glance at Matteo, hoping he'll speak up. Mom, Dad, this is ridiculous. Her family situation doesn't define her, Matteo says, trying to defend me, but his parents stand firm. We simply can't trust a family with only one parent. What if there were financial problems and we had to lend money? Matteo's father continues. And it's unusual for a single mother to be able to send her child to college. We can't have someone like that in our family. His mother's words sting even more because they aren't direct insults but veiled criticisms. Matteo argues with them, but ultimately, it's in vain. We might accept that you're just dating her for fun, but marrying her? It's impossible. The differences in lifestyle are too great, Matteo's father concludes. Matteo can't say anything in response. He stands there silently, looking down. Finally, he turns to me, his voice soft and apologetic. I'm sorry, Paisley, I can't marry you after all. What? You're rejecting me because I come from a single-parent family? I ask, devastated. I didn't want it to be this way. Please don't blame me, Matteo says, his voice tight. You knew about my family situation. Do you also think we're not a good match? I search his face for any sign of disagreement, but he says nothing. His silence is the answer I feared. He agrees with his parents, believing I'm not the right choice. I'm crushed. I never imagined that even Matteo would turn his back on me because of my background. Paisley, please go home, he says, his voice strained. I don't want to be there anymore. I'm leaving. I'm sorry for the trouble, I say, leaving without anyone trying to stop me. I walk out, tears falling as I head back home. When I arrive, my mom immediately notices my tear-streaked face. She asks what happened. There's no point in lying. She knew exactly where I had been and what had happened. I felt like I was betraying my mother's values, and I didn't want to tell her the truth, but eventually, I shared everything with her. As expected, she was furious when she heard about how I was treated. Well, so that's who they really are. It sounds like Matto just went along with whatever his parents said. Honestly, marrying a guy like that wouldn't have worked out, so I think it's for the best you don't go through with it, she said, trying to comfort me. Mom, I began, but she continued, I know it must have been hard. You handled yourself well. Despite the way they treated you, you did great. You've made me so proud. She hugged me tightly, and after a pause, she asked, what bank does Matteo's father work for? The name of the bank came to me instantly, as Matteo often bragged about it. When I told my mom, I could see her piecing things together in her mind. Paisley, your mother may not have much, and we don't have a father in the house. It's easy to feel unlucky because of that, but you should never feel ashamed or less than anyone, she scolded gently. After your father left, I raised you to always believe that. I won't forgive Matto and his family for what they've done to you. Even though I had already cried on my way home, fresh tears welled up in my eyes. My mom's words reminded me of something important. I love her deeply, I admire everything she's done, and I want to be as strong and hardworking as she is. It's absurd to let Matto and his family crush my admiration for her over something so trivial. The next day, my mom said, I checked, and just as I suspected, our company does have business dealings with Matteo's father's bank. I'm going to cancel the contract. I'll explain everything to them. I don't know how they'll respond, but if they think trust is important, they'll soon understand they no longer have mine. She was determined. She called the bank the moment it opened, bypassing the loan officer and going straight to the branch manager. Branch manager, she started, we're ending our business with you. I'm sorry, but this is urgent. It appears one of your officers has mistreated my daughter severely. If you'd like to hear the full story, I can come in person and explain it. Are you willing to listen? She finished. I overheard her conversation just before I headed out for work. I knew she would terminate the contract, but I wasn't sure what would happen next. It wasn't until a few days later that I received a call from Matto, asking to meet me in a nearby park. When I arrived, I found Matto and his parents there. His parents glared at me, and Matto spoke to me with frustration in his voice. My dad was suddenly fired, and when I asked why, they said it was because of you. What did you do, Paisley? In that moment, everything clicked. I understood what it meant to sever a contract and why a banker losing trust is such a big deal. Trust is the foundation of their entire profession, and if it's lost, they lose everything. The fact that his father was dismissed made perfect sense. It was all because of the damage done to that trust. What I learned later was that Matteo and his father, just like they did with me, looked down on clients, treating them poorly if they were less wealthy. It seemed it was only a matter of time before they were exposed. The final straw was my mother's call. This wasn't something I orchestrated, my family did this for me. I can be proud of that. You insulted my mother, and now she's used her influence to make things right, I said. Matteo's father stared at me in disbelief. What? There's no way a company run by a poor girl's parents could have enough power to get me fired with just a complaint. True, my parents' company isn't huge, but my mom's influence extends beyond that. She's not just involved in one office, she's an honorary director in several companies my grandfather owns. So, if you want to know where the real power lies, it's in the fact that all contracts with my grandfather's companies have now been terminated, I explained, listing off the companies my grandfather runs. The color drained from Matteo's father's face. That's insane, he muttered. There's nothing strange about it. He's my grandfather. After all, why would he want to deal with a bank that disrespects his granddaughter and daughter? I concluded. It was clear they finally understood why they'd lost everything. In an instant, their attitude shifted completely. They dropped to their knees, pressing their foreheads to the ground and crying. But even as they begged, I felt nothing but pity for them. Matto tried to hold on to me, pleading, Paisley, I'm so sorry for everything. I really wanted to marry you. I just wanted you to go home for a while, because my parents were being difficult. His excuses were pathetic, like he was scrambling to redeem himself, but I had already given up on him. I pulled away from his weak grasp and said, my mom is incredible, isn't she? She's my role model. I don't want anything to do with you anymore, not after the way you disrespected her. I hate you now. I'm going home because my mom is worried. Goodbye, and don't ever contact me again." I walked away, and Mato didn't have the strength to follow. He stayed kneeling, just like his parents. Afterward, his family, now without jobs, began to sell off their cars and luxury items. Eventually, they even had to sell their house. Thanks to my mom and grandfather, I realized how lucky I was to have avoided marrying someone like him. He would likely continue to live with his inflated sense of pride, struggling financially. I couldn't help but hope he'd learn to live within his means. My mom and I even had a laugh about it. As for me, I'm now navigating the working world. There are more things I can't do than I can, but I've learned a lot from this experience. I'll be more careful in choosing a partner in the future, but I also want to continue growing stronger on my own. Above all, my goal hasn't changed. I want to become a strong, successful woman like my mom. I want to protect and support my family just like she does, and I'll keep working hard every day to become a woman I can be proud of. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Stay strong.